Hi guys, we're back. Let's go right into it. The first thing that I'm going to do is I have 5 KPIs right now, give or take, or main pieces of information on a class level, giving me hopefully quick and easy information that gives me a general overview of how everyone's doing once I have it formatted well with colors. I don't have performance, and we have a performance metric called grade. So I kind of want to add that. 6 is a nice number because then I can have maybe 2 rows of 3 or 3 rows of 2 when I organize this instead of having 5. It's not an even number. So this is going to work the exact same way as these other equations work. And you need to you need to go through these videos in order to understand what's going on. But essentially, I'll do a quick overview. With this SRP calculation, this is the average. I'm just going to remove this. This is the RPE, the SRP average for the class for this date. And in this formula, we're saying if the past X number of days is blank, give us the average for whatever date that is. But if this is not blank, then give us an aggregate measure, which is the average SRPE from whatever date this is over the past X number of days. So for example, if I type in the number 7 here, this number is now the average SRPE from 123 to 130. So the average SRP over the past 7 days for this report. So that's what is going to happen with the grade value too. And these are working the exact same way. All the criteria is exactly the same. I'm just going to change SRPE to grades. That's what we want the average of in these scenarios now. And I have that. Now, this number on the bottom here, which, I'll italicize it for now. Maybe make it, might as well just make it a little bit more good. These are the annual averages so that we can compare what's happening either on a given date or what's happening recently, aggregated up to a given date versus the annual average. I'm going to copy and paste this. And again, it works in the exact same way as the grade will. And I just have to change the metric that I'm looking for in my table to grades. Perfect. And what you'll notice is if I remove the past X number of days from the grade, there's nothing there. And that's because a lot of this information we're collecting on a daily basis in class. Grades are a performance metric. You can think of them as like bench press 1 RM or trap bar deadlift 1 RM or sprint speed or something that you're collecting routinely or semi-consistently once every 2 weeks, once every 4 weeks, but you're not collecting it every day like wellness or RPE or something like that. So the reason why this is blank is because we have one date here and we apparently did not do a performance assessment via grades on that day. If I change this date to, let's say, 128, where we do have performance data, we should have a grade pop up there. Great. Okay. So we did that. We have our grades KPI. Now let's make this thing, let's give it a little bit of color. The first thing that I want to address is I don't have any like sort of branding for this. You may want to use your team colors, integrate your team colors of sorts if you're building a dashboard for a specific team or environment. I don't want this blue. I just want it to be kind of neutral. If I go to table design, Excel has a lot of pre-made table designs. You can kind of see which ones you like, or you can just create your own, or you can clear it entirely and just design your own via filling things in and coloring them different colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm not a very flashy type of person. This gray looks okay to me for now. You can always change it. That's the way I'm going to design the table for right now. And now I'm going to color code some things. In this video, I'll color code attendance, injury status, and exercise because I'm not going to use the standard deviations and averages that we computed in these hidden rows. I'm just going to do them based on their raw value. And this is why I actually organize the data in this way. You'll remember that I made attendance refined. I gave someone a 1, 2, or 3, depending on whether or not they were here, or they were here and did not complete their data, or number 3, they were not here at all. And same thing with injury, whether they were full, limited, or out. The reason why I did this, well, one is just because that was an appropriate way to do things from a data management standpoint. The second thing is for conditional formatting. So for conditional formatting, for those of you who haven't done it before, if you click on it, Excel gives you a bunch of kind of out of the box ways to format things. And what conditional formatting is, you're telling Excel, I want to color code something a certain way based on a set of criteria. I'm going to create a new rule. There are a million things to choose from. All right, I want this to be, sorry, I'm just going to go through this quickly. I want this to be yellow if the cell value is between 1 and 3. You could say that. Or if there's specific text contains a certain number. You can do top and bottom ranked values over a range. You can do above or below, or a number of standard deviations above or below a certain range. And you can create your own formula. You can do a bunch of things for the purpose. Well, I know what I want to do because I've thought about it, which is something that you should do also. Think about the way that you're going to want to format things and what you're going to want to compare things to. You should have a really concrete idea of what your colors are going to mean and how they're going to provide insights for you to make better decisions on a daily basis, if that's what your goal is. I'm going to use a 3-color scale with numbers 1, 2, and 3. If someone's here, that's a 1. And I want that to be green. If someone's not here, or if someone is here and did not complete their data, that's a 2. I want that to be yellow. And if someone was not here, I want that to be red. That's 3. So what I'm going to have to do now, and it's important with this 3-colored scale, it goes by the values in here. The minimum value has to be on this side. The maximum value has to be on this side, or else it doesn't work. So I can't put a 3 here and a 1 here and be like, okay, I'm done. Because 1 is green, that's good. 3 is red, that's bad. I'm gonna have to switch the colors around a little bit, and also these colors are a little bit too vibrant for me. So I'm gonna choose that green. That yellow is pretty. That's too dark. That yellow is okay for now. You can always change these things, and I'm gonna choose this lighter red that I have here. So now what I'm telling Excel is, if this number is a 1, it's green. If it's a 2, it's yellow. If it's a 3, it's red. And if it's between either of these values, and this is important, this is one of the reasons why I'm choosing this, is between these values, then it'll end up being a color in between those values. Why is that important, or why do I care about that? Well, I'll tell you in a second. If I click OK, perfect, it's working. That's a 1, it's green, just like I want it. We designed this dashboard in a way where we can aggregate data over previous X amount of days. So if someone is a 1.5, for example, if I aggregate this, let me just change this to 2/4/2020 maybe. If I aggregate this over the past 10 days, let's do 20 days. All right, I see a value that's 1.4 here. That tells me that this person was not here every day during that range. Either they weren't here or they were here and did not complete their data. And if I am aggregating data over past X number of days, I want that to be reflected in my conditional formatting by telling me which people were here every single day and which people were not here every single day or were not compliant every single day. So going back to this, I did this conditional formatting. What I can do is I can copy this cell, highlight everything in this column, right click, and I'm going to apply the formatting only. I don't want to apply the formulas, even though it probably won't matter, or the values, just the formatting. And if I do that, we got some colors going on here, and that's great. If I remove this, I'm just looking at one date. Maybe I have, all right, I got some people that weren't here. Great. And now I'm going to do the same to injury status, and I'm going to do the same to exercise. And luckily, injury status, the exact same logic applies, where 1 is full, 2 is limited, and 3 is out. And I'm okay with those colors being the way that they are to represent those numbers. So I'm going to copy that and paste it there. So now I have a couple of people that were limited on this day. No one was out. Some people weren't here though. Now for exercise, I'm going to do the exact same thing, except I'm going to change it slightly. So I'm pasting that in. And now, how do I manage all these rules that are going on? If you go to conditional formatting and manage rules, in this table, I've got these rules from I8 through I39, which is right here. I have that rule. Through F8 through F39, I have that rule. And through C9 through C39, I have that rule, and C8. So what I'm going to do, I'm a little bit anal about this stuff. C8 to C39, I want everything to be consistent, is that rule. And then I can just delete this one, right? So everything will stay the same. And now I8 through I39, this is the rule that I need to change a little bit, this exercise one, because this is not 1 through 3. This is 0, and this is another important concept. Knowing your data, knowing what numbers mean behind your data is imperative to conditionally format it appropriately and interpret it appropriately. So exercise is 0 or 1. I want to reflect that here. Now, remember, in my eyes, 0 is kind of worse now, if you're going to categorize it that way, and 1 is good. I think exercise is good for you. So, and some people could argue that. So I have to move this color, because remember, this has to be the minimum number. This has to be the maximum number. 0, let's say this is 0.5. This is 1. Now, on a daily basis, you can only be a 0 or 1, so we're not going to see any yellow. You can't half exercise on a given day. I'm going to click apply. So we're going to see the people that did and did not exercise. I haven't tested this. I'm going to try it now, I guess. But theoretically, if I'm looking at data over a period of time and someone exercises sometimes, but not that frequently, that's going to be indicated with yellow, because their aggregated value will be between 0 and 1, and towards closer to 0 if they don't exercise a lot, closer to 1 if they do exercise a lot. And they do this over the past 20 days. Now we can quickly see people that are perhaps exercising slightly more than others over a given time frame. Great. Okay. Now you're probably like, Adam, this is ugly, man. Like those numbers are like, I just don't want to see them. And one thing that you cannot do is you cannot go in here. This is the text color. And there's no transparency. You can't make text fully transparent. I don't know why. Excel, maybe you want to get on that. But in any case, I can't make this color, like I can't make this text color either the same color as that cell. Because if oh man, I hope this works. Oh man, let me choose someone else. I'll choose this person. I can't make it the same color as that cell because if this is a dynamic dashboard. So if I do that, then all of a sudden I can start seeing the colors. The colors change. I'm going to undo that. Excel has a little trick. You can format data any way that you want. You can format as a number, currency, dates, and there are more number formats that are custom. And I'm going to do a custom format on these metrics because I don't want any numbers to show up. I just want a color. And you can design this any way that you want. Maybe you just want to pull in the attendance status, which won't work if you aggregate it over time, but maybe you just want full, limited, or out, and here or not here on a daily basis. But I'm going to more number formats. I'm going to go to custom, and there's this nifty little trick. If I'm going to do a semicolon 3 times, and I'm going to click enter. Now I just have colors. So now if I look out across a row, this person on this date, 2/4/2020, they were here, they were full, they were not hurt, they did not exercise. All right, simple enough. Okay, let's keep going with this a little bit. I'm still going to save the standard deviation. I'm still going to save this stuff for the next video, but we can at least color code our KPIs here. And I don't want this video to be super long. So let's say that we want to know whether or not this value here is higher or lower than the average by a certain amount. And that's kind of our KPI. That's how we're color coding things. I'm going to go to conditional formatting, new rule. Again, there are a bunch of different ways to do this. You can use icons, a million ways. I'm just going to color code the cell. And it can only be 3 colors. It can be red, gray, or green. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to write a custom formula to do that. I'm going to pretty much say, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I can say above average or 1 standard deviation below, 1 standard deviation above, but that only works when you're selecting a lot of cells at once. If you just want to have one value relative to one average value, that's a lot more difficult to do. I could say a cell value greater than, actually, let me just try this. I think that you can do formulas in here. I'm going to try it. If it's greater than or less than, try this value plus, maybe I can do it this way, times 0.01. That means what I'm telling Excel, I think, is if this value is less than the average, less than 1% below the average, then I want to color code it a certain way. I think that's what I'm telling Excel to do. Let's see. I'm going to try this, see if it works. All right, I think that it works. I was going to do a totally custom formula, but I think that we can do it this way. So I'm going to do it this way instead. So that's fine. I'm gonna make all these KPIs be, if it's greater than 10% above the average, aside from SRPE, I'm gonna do the opposite with that. If it's greater than 10% above the average, green. If it's below 10% less than the average, then it's gonna be red. And if it's in between those two things, it'll be gray. So if this self value is greater than, now this is important. I know that I'm going to copy this conditional formatting to other cells. When I click on this cell, Excel automatically locks it in. I don't want this, because if this is locked in and I try to apply the conditional formatting to this cell, it's going to be going off of the logic on this cell. Don't know if that makes sense right now, but you'll see what I mean in a second. So this equals F5 plus F5 times 0.1. That's 10% above this F5. So when this cell is greater than 10% above the attendance, I'm going to format it green. Yeah, fine, I'll bold it too. All right, cool. And that's it. It's not. So I don't expect anything to happen. I'm going to do another new rule, and I'm going to do the opposite. Cell value less than F5. Again, make sure it's not locked. F5 minus F5 times 0.1, 10% below. Bold it, fill it. Oh, man. So what I'm going to do here, actually, I want my colors to be consistent. I know that I use this color over here. I'm going to do this red for now. But what I am going to do now is I'm going to look into this conditional formatting rule. Sorry if I say this out loud. I'm getting the color code 2559797 because I want it to be consistent. I'm going to go here, manage rules, more colors. I think it was 9797. Yeah, I think that's right. So now my colors are consistent. And if it's in between those two values, I have a new rule. cell value between F5 minus F5 times 0.1 and F5 plus F5 times 0.1. Between those two values, just make it a light, maybe dark. I don't know, I might change it. So that looks right. We'll find out soon. All right, so that tells me that attendance for today is between minus 10% and plus 10% of this value. It looks on the lower end, but that's fine. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it here. And now I'm going to go into this formula. And I'm going to go to Manage Rules, Current Selection. And look, so the formula changed to be L5 instead of F5, which we started with before. That's because we unlocked the cell. If we didn't do that, this would still be referring to this number here. And that would definitely run into problems if we got into the readiness and things like that. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to undo this in a second, but just to test, let's say that exercise percent was 80. It looks like it worked, right? That's more than 10% above 67.2%. Okay, let's copy this. Let's do it the same thing with the readiness score. It's going to change because I'm pasting the formatting. It's going to change the formatting, but we can quickly just go back to number here. And I'm going to do the same thing and paste it on the grade one. And now with SRP, I'm going to do the same thing and I'm going to paste it on SRP. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to manage the rules and I am going to change them. I'm going to change this to greater than. This is the easiest way to do it. Change this to less than, because we're just inverting what everything means. Click apply. Don't know why, did I bold that? I don't know what I did there. Let me just do this again. I don't know what I did, but that's fine. So let me test this. Let's go, the average is 280, let's go 250. All right, that's lower than 280, at least 10% lower. So let's try the high end, 320. All right, perfect. It looks like it's working okay. I still don't know why this is bold. I'll figure that out later. But essentially now we have some KPIs. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. I don't need all these decimals. Let's just put all these at 1 decimal. Looks cleaner. And in the next video, let's see, can I get something here? There we go. All right, so yeah, all right, look, we changed. All right, so the average over the past 10 days on 2/4/20, the average was lower than the season average or the academic year average. So that's it for this video. The next thing I'm going to do in the video after this is we'll color code the rest of these using standard deviations that are in here. And we will also maybe organize this a little bit better. I'll introduce you to slicers a little bit, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.